Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here we are in the shop again. So, let's see. Last week we were working on some wiring on the General over there, and we had mentioned this 6-gang switch panel that I'm going to be installing. So I can show you a little bit about that. Got some of the stuff over there at the machine already, but here's some of the other stuff that comes in it. It has all these pre-printed stickers to go on the switches, and a little info. Here's the cover. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's got some bolts and some screws and a little fuse jumper thing. So I got this on Amazon. And I got these heat shrink crimps on Amazon also. Those been working out pretty good. I did some wiring on a crane at work a few years back, and we bought a whole bunch of those from Napa. Did those on the crane. I guess it's been more than a few years, probably been 10 years ago now. So they've held up good in daily work service. So I thought I'd buy a bunch for the house. And I got this wire here that I'm using for the wiring. In the other video you saw me doing some of these Deutsch connectors, using that wiring. And then I just recently grabbed a package of these fuses, because I didn't have any inline fuses here, because this is great for the items that are going to hook to that. You got the fuses and relay all built in, but some of the stuff that I already had mostly wired, I need some fuses for. Got a pack. You get this and that on Amazon for like 17 bucks or something silly like that. Anyway, so I thought those would be good to have around the house. So over here at the machine, what I got is I still got this mess of wire here, but here's the box. This is what comes in that. It's not waterproof. I was thinking it would be. Well, actually, I didn't really think about it at all. I figured anything like this should be waterproof, but when I got it, I started looking at it, and I was looking at the box, and I see nothing that says that it's actually waterproof. The cover goes over this, laps over all this, so any water that hits here is going to run off of it. It's got drain hole in the bottom. These are all exposed, so I could put some that silicone stuff on it. Maybe I'll make a little flap. I don't know. But it's going to bolt right there. And then I got to run this big wire. I can tie it into this terminal down here, and then you got these other two wires to switch it, to make it go on and off with the key. And then that'll supply things like these lights. Someday there'll be lights going across the top up there. Someday I'll be putting a chase light back here. I've noticed when I'm at the dunes, even with the whip lights and everything, you see other rigs running around out there at the dunes, and they got dual whip lights going, and the ones that have the chase light also just stand out a lot more. Just figure that's less chance of someone running into me. And they look cool. Who knows? I might want to enter a race someday. And so in here, what I've done, let's see if I can get in here and show you, is this is the switch panel. And since I have this flat bar that I put up here to mount the radios on, and in case you haven't seen in a previous video, I have a CB, UHF, VHF. It monitors, which one does it monitor? It monitors VHF. It talks on UHF. This will communicate with like the Rhino two-way radios. And then here I have a handheld VHF that I put in there. I put that hole so that it won't fall off, and a little bit of rubber so that it won't rattle. The rubber used to come all the way out, and it didn't fit right, so I had to trim a little bit off. So anyways, those have been working out great. And I'm going to take this, I already drilled the holes in it, and that's going to mount right there. So I'll have 6 lights right above me, because as you can see, the dash is full. There's no more room for switches on the dash. So I put this up here, and I'll be able to turn on 6 more items. And then I'm going to run the wire in through this hole. It's got this wiring harness here that has these, which I believe are a waterproof connection. There's no O-rings in it though, so maybe it's not, but that's a fairly watertight setup. But this will just barely fit through that hole. So I gotta get this run, and then I'm gonna pull another wire, like that black wire that I showed you on the table. I'm gonna pull one of those wires and bring it up here to supply these 2 radios, and then it'll go under the hood to the what's it called, the pulse bar. It'll go down to the pulse bar to get its power, and I'll put an inline fuse under the hood. So then these both will be on a fuse thing with the wires running around, and I won't have wires hanging down like this and this, because these 2 have been running on a splitter, with the splitter coming down here and plugging into the cigarette lighter outlet. So anyway, I hope that all makes sense. I'll show you along the way what I'm doing. That is my plan for the system. The first thing that would be hooked to that will probably be these lights, because I've already got them run to this point here. So I can strip that, put that in there, and then when I mount this to the side, I might just make a really long bolt right here, possibly. It's one idea. And then everything that I need to ground, I can stack on it. And then I'll have to run a wire from here over to the ground. But that's my thought on that. We'll see how it goes as I go along. But I'm going on a trip here shortly, so I don't have much time to get this all done. Hopefully I can get it done before I go. If not, I can throw the hood on this thing and go. I'm good enough to be able to do my trip. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get going on it, and we will show you, whoa, tripping over a wire. We will show you what is going on along the way, and show you more about this box, what I like, what I don't like, how well it works. It's definitely more economical than those other big name ones out there, which I wish back in the beginning when I bought this thing, which who has money to buy everything in the beginning? I wish I would have been able to buy one of those big ones that, I mean, they got some of those that have got 12 switch points or something like that. I mean, you can get them where they got lots of power, lots of controls you can do. And then that would really have simplified a lot of the stuff I've already done and a lot of the stuff I'm going to do in the future. But since I've already got some of it done, like I said, having the switches all filled up in the dash, I mean, that's the winch, so that comes factory with that. And then I have the forward lights, I've got the back lights, I've got the whip light and the rock lights. I've got a fan override switch so it can turn on my fan for the radiator. And also the nice thing about that is whenever my fan comes on, that lights up. So it lets me know that my fan's running, and I can look at the temperature and make sure it's kicking on where it's supposed to. And then the last one is windshield washer. So I've got that all wired. I just haven't figured out where I'm going to put the squirters yet to squirt on the windshield. So So someday I'll finish that and I'll show you what I do there. But anyway, that is all the switches in there. Two other switches that would need to go in there is for the seat heaters, which is what part of this wiring is about. It's for the seat heaters that need to be hooked up. I just haven't been brave enough to peel my upholstery back to put the piece in there. So I can either run it on the switches it came with, which everything is already wired under there, or I can bypass some of that and I can control it with that one over my head. Lots of options. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put this camera down and get to work. I'll show you what we get along the way. Probably be over the next day or two. So we'll get going. Here we go. Quit talking. All right, there you go. Okay. So I've got that mounted up there. And I've got the wires run. So what wound up happening is, put this light down somewhere so you can see, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, so I wound up getting that wire there bolted there, and I fought it and fought it. Oh, that light's kind of blinding me over there. Let me turn that one off as I spin you around and make you dizzy. Let's see if this makes it any better. Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, so what I wound up doing is I've got this wire running across here. That one is coming through the frame and pops out down here, goes under the dash, and then out there. I wound up putting a splitter and then two Deutsch connectors here. So each one of these can be unhooked. So they're both hooked up to the same fuse. But in reality, probably, I can't say never, but probably very rare that I would be running both radios at the same time. So trying to run this through there, I got it up to here from the bottom, but trying to get it come out of the hole and everything, it wound up being a little bit of a pain. So I wound up routing that around. It comes out right here, and then it's going down on the outside. So I was able to put some, I already had this wire run here, and that wire is from the radio over here, and it's going down and out to the antenna. So I just ran it alongside with it. Runs down behind my little window bracket, and then underneath and out under the hood. So that worked out pretty nice. Got that on there. When you turn on the key, that lights up like that, and then it gets dim. So it's really bright at first, but then it dims a little, and then you can hit the button, and as you can see, I've got some lights. So I didn't put any of the stickers on here yet because I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna leave it. Currently it's on this one, which I think is a 20 amp. It's something like a 30, a 20, a 15, a 15, a 10, and a 5. Don't hold me to it. Something like that. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing there yet, so I just got it hooked to this one for now. And what I have found is, oh, spider on the window. What I found is when I'm running those lights, there's really no need for these other ones. When I turn on these ones, okay, there is, see if it shows in the camera. So you got that like that. You hit that light, and then I hit the other lights. See, it's not a lot of difference. It kind of does the area. So if you're in the woods, turning this one down here on probably helps a little bit, because you see it brightens it up high. But these are pretty bright. Anyway, so I got that on there. And then we'll come around here and show you what I got up front. Okay, so showing you what we did up here. I did like I had mentioned. I mounted the box here. I got a long screw through there. And then I got a ground wire running around here, up tying into the ground up in this pulse bar. And I've got the lead that turns, that's not it, the lead that turns it on, wired into one of these pulse bar plugs. So when it gets key, it goes on. When the key goes off, it goes off. And like I mentioned before, I'll clean this up at some point. But this is working really good. This part of the video is after I went somewhere, so I know how they work. So I think I'm gonna like it. And up under the hood here, I bet this will last a long time, even though it's not completely waterproof. So I hope this is helpful to someone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Really helps the channel. And we will catch you on the next one. See ya.